Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about the 8 parts of speech. So every word in a sentence has a function. In total, there are 8 of them. Each of these functions together is known as the 8 parts of speech. So we're going to start off with one of the building blocks of all sentences, and that is the noun. So a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So dog, cat, horse, student, teacher, apple, Mary, etc. They can be singular or plural, meaning one or more than one. But the trick is that you can also have nouns that are basically describing things that are not things you can touch necessarily, like love, for example, or color, prejudice. We have proper nouns and common nouns, which are 2 types of nouns. So proper nouns are very specific nouns, and those are usually the names of people or places or things that are very specific. So for example, if I say Victoria, I'm talking about the specific city of Victoria. So that becomes a proper noun. However, if I'm talking about the word city as a noun, I'm just using a common noun there because it's not a specific place. Another part of speech that's linked to the noun is called the pronoun. So pronouns replace the name of the person, place, or thing in a sentence. So for example, using the word he, she, it, we, they, him, her, this, that. The words that I'm talking about here are words we use all the time. The trick is that we have to know what the actual proper or common noun is first in many sentences. So for example, if I said David groaned when he saw how much work he had to do, David is a proper noun because it's a specific person's name. It would be capitalized. And if I say David groaned when he saw how much work he had to do, we know when I'm using the word he in the sentence there, that pronoun, that I'm actually talking about David. I don't need to say David groaned when David saw how much work David had to do. We just don't talk like that. So instead we use pronouns like he or she or it or they to replace the noun as we go through a sentence. The next part of speech I want to look at is the verb, another one of the key building blocks of every sentence. A verb is a word or group of words that describes an action or experience. So realize, walk, see, look, sing, sit, listen. They must agree with the subject, and these are action words. So whenever we have a subject in a sentence, it's always going to be doing something, and that doing something is the verb. And we're going to look at sentence fragments a little bit later in the course. So one thing that's key about verbs that's a bit tricky is that we can have verbs also representing a state of being. So when I say I am happy, I'm the noun, but am is actually a verb in that sentence because it's describing my state of existence, where I am at that exact moment. So the next 2 that we're going to look at are connected to nouns and verbs. So first, we're going to look at an adjective, which is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. Okay, so whenever an adjective is there, it's always linked to a noun or pronoun. So, for example, red, or tall, or fat, or long, or short. These are words that describe a person, place, thing, idea, something like that. The other part that links to a verb is the next part of speech called an adverb. And this often modifies a verb by telling how much, or how often, or where, or when, or it's a describing word for a verb. So for example, if I said, James easily answered all the questions on the test. Well, James is our noun, he's our proper noun, our subject. Now he answered the questions on the test. There's our action word, answered. It's something you can do, so there's our verb. How did James answer the questions on the test? Well, let's read that again. James easily answered all the questions on the test. Therefore, easily is modifying how he did the action or describing how he did the action, so it's an adverb. So quick recap, we've got nouns, which are person, place, or thing. We've got pronouns, which replace a noun in a sentence like he, she, or it. We've got adjectives, which describe a noun. And we've got adverbs, which modify or describe a verb. The next one I want to talk about is a preposition. Now, a preposition is used before a noun, a pronoun, and it's used to show place, time, or direction in a sentence. So, examples would be it in, on, about, for, from. So if I gave you a phrase, she bought a glass of water from the kitchen. So of is a preposition, and from the kitchen. From is a preposition. So it tells us where. So she is the noun. Brought is the action. What did she bring? A glass of water. It's another noun. Where did she bring it from? The preposition. From the kitchen. That becomes a prepositional phrase. He tasted some pasta, then he put some salt on it. Where he put the salt is your preposition or your prepositional phrase. On it. Some common prepositions are things like against, around, between, in front of, outside, underneath. There are a number of them, and I'll have those on the lesson sheet that you can download from the website. Okay, number 7 that we're going to look at is called a conjunction. These are pretty straightforward because these are things that join words or groups of words in a sentence. And, because, yet, therefore, since, so, but. And when we start looking at run-on sentences a little bit later, these conjunctions are very, very key in helping us avoid having run-on sentences. If I said, I thought I was ready, but the wind tore the umbrella from my hand. That word but links my two ideas together. I thought I was ready, but the wind tore the umbrella from my hand. The last one is a bit of a simple one, and that's called an interjection. It's a word or phrase that expresses surprise or strong emotion. Most interjections are short words, and they're often at the beginning of a sentence. So for example, bravo, well, aha, hooray, yeah, oops, phew. Or if I said, oh no, I think I left my wallet at home. Oh no is the interjection in that sentence. So again, interjection, a word or phrase that expresses surprise or strong emotion. Noun, adverb, verb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, pronoun, and interjection. Every word in a sentence is one of these 8 parts of speech. These are the building blocks of our language.